Welcome to the Illusions studio in Miami. I'm so excited we're going to show you the making of our latest release, In Love.
Lights out for a minute.
So the demo actually started a few years ago when I was in the Dominican Republic with the No Face Records crew, and we were making some beats. I started making this I wanted a melodic house, like a black coffee style beat. So actually it all started with a groove. But I wanted to go a little bit more chill and more melodic, so I was thinking, okay, how can we add some pads or something? And that's when I came up with this chord progression. And so I felt like it was very vibey overall, and I made it kind of sustain a lot, but I felt like it needed a piano to feel more natural. And so with those, you kind of have this groove, but it's vibey now. And you're gonna start recognizing. And with all of that together, you have the main bones of the song. Now I had the bones, I had to kind of move forward, so I thought, let me add some sort of leads and something that is a little catchy and can really bring the song home on the beat. So I was messing around with some trumpet and some very atmospherical synths that I wanted to add. The whole purpose was to have a groovy house rhythm, but with nice atmospheric synths. And I started messing around with some trumpet sounds. These are actual samples that I got from a sample library. And the last thing that I needed to kind of bring the whole beat home was something that made it more recognizable. So I decided to mess around with a vocal chop, and that's when the famous vocal chop that gave birth to the entire idea of the song was born. And it sounds like this. And how that came about was actually, I took an a cappella from a sample library and kind of chopped it up, different vowels, and put it on a keyboard. So if you start playing random notes, you kind of will hear that you have different vowels. And then I kind of found my favorite ones and came up with a vocal chop. And that was what gave birth to the entire first idea of the beat.
When Philium first showed me the track that he started in the DR, I was immediately drawn to the vocal chops. You can't really tell exactly what it's saying, but when I heard it, I immediately thought, this is saying in love. We started writing some lyrics that we thought would sound good with the song to match the in love of the vocal chop. We wanted it to be about someone who not necessarily wants to be in love romantically, but someone that's just aching for connection. And we feel like the time that we wrote it, it was a time where a lot of people were feeling isolated and lacking that connection, and we wanted to have this relatable idea of somebody who just wants to be loved by other people. We started with the in love vocal. We wanted it to be big and impactful, so we turned it into a choir effect. And in order to do that, we had to have many doubles, different harmonies. We even had a track with Mark's vocal, which I'm going to show you, Mark, aka Philium. And the reason we added that is because we wanted to add this tone that I was just unable to achieve.
In love, in love, I just wanna be.
And we layered that with a bunch of different doubles.
In love, in love.
And overall, with the lead vocal, it gave this full choir effect.
In love, I just wanna be.
When Philium and I have been writing our songs recently, we've kind of been experimenting with a bunch of different aspects of the songs, vocally, and one of the things that we've been experimenting with is the structure of songs. So when we were making this song, we had the intro, the verse, the chorus, or I guess the drop. We were let's just do a bridge, a completely different style vocal line.
Save me, I need to build a home. These roads are way too long.
So with that, it just builds up and up, and it just goes back to the first verse, but in a different setting. more slowed down, building more of a tension, you know, taking something from such high energy and kind of like dropping everything so that we can build it back again and give even more energy in the second drop. Because we didn't want to keep our song dynamically like the same, you know, you gotta bring the energy up and down to create that contrast. The songs that we've been making, they're very electronic focused, but we also wanted to have elements of, you know, instruments that we play growing up. So Philium played a lot of piano, I played a lot of guitar, and we wanted to make sure that we kept some of those elements in our songs. When we were making In Love, we wanted to have this big festival style drop and these like cool synth sounds, but we also wanted to have an electric guitar that had some driving melodies for the song. And so what we did is we called up our friend Devin Z, shout out to Devin, he did a great job on this track. And we basically told him, hey, like you should come to the studio, we should like jam a little bit, kind of brainstorm some melodies that we want to work on. And we ended up just having him play some different melodies that everyone was coming up with. At the end of the process, we had a bunch of different melodies to pick from, and we kind of chopped them up and placed them in the song where we felt we needed it.
The best way to make the drop feel as big as possible was to create a lot of contrast before. So we decided to make the quietest, slowest part of the song right before the drop with the guitar super mellow. So when the drop hits, it's like completely, like it takes the listener into a completely different space and really surprises them. With the vocal chop and the guitar, and then we kind of lifted it up with some synths and like risers right here. And then we did the drop.
And then we also wanted to add guitar to the synths that we had in the chords in the chorus or in the drop, and that's because it added this texture that these synths just couldn't replicate. These sounds blended in with the synths that we had already put onto the track, and they merged so well that you can't even really like tell them apart when you're listening to the song as a whole, but if you really dissect it, like each brings its own sound.
We now had the vocals, the beat, the guitar, and it was time to make something extra that would really bring the song home, something that would be super impactful. We wanted a big drop with big synths. So then I actually came up with a different chord progression for the drop. But what makes this drop, you know, feel so big is all of the sound design. And the way we did that was by layering a lot of sounds together and mixing them so that they could all fit with each other perfectly. And then to bring it home, we couldn't just have big chords. We had to like do something creative with it. And that's where the power of manipulating the sound and automating came. So if you see here, you can actually see that there's a lot of automation and a lot of things that are moving while we're doing the song. And that's how we were able to make that super wobbly effect, right? We put like this gated effect on all of the sounds at once. And that's how you get that very recognizable full stack of sounds that makes people, you know, want to dance to in the drop.